You finish wrapping the last bandage. The golden retriever licks your hand and you laugh despite yourself. You pass the leash back to Mrs. Higgins, pocket the check she hands you, and watch her disappear into the rainy night. You flip the sign to closed. 12 hours on your feet. You're ready to go home. Then, a fist hits the glass. A man stands outside, soaked to the bone, eyes wild. He isn't holding a leash, he's holding a person. The man slumped over his shoulder has one arm dangling loose, the other pressing a red towel against his gut. The towel is soaked through. You can see it dripping onto the sidewalk, mixing with the puddles below. You wave them off. You point to the hospital 4 blocks down the street. Real doctors, real equipment, real medicine. You're just a vet. The man reaches into his jacket and pulls out a pistol. He taps it against the glass once, slowly, like he has all the time in the world. You unlock the door. They crash inside, mud on the tile, water pooling at the entrance, blood dragging a trail from the door all the way to your exam table. The gunman kicks the door shut while you help get the injured man up onto the surface. Bullet wound. You tell him you treat broken paws, you give rabies vaccines, you tell overweight cats they need more exercise. You don't do this. You've never done this. The gunman doesn't react. Fix him. 2 words, that's all. But you understand everything underneath them. Fix him or join him. You look at the wound. Then you look at your cabinets. Wrong medicine, wrong tools, wrong training. But you try anyway. You pull out a tranquilizer designed for horses, strong enough to put down a 1,000-pound animal in under a minute. You do the math in your head, adjusting for a man's weight. You inject the line and hold your breath. The man groans. His eyes roll back. His body goes still. 20 minutes, maybe less. You work. You clean the wound. You find the damage. You stitch him up with heavy nylon, the same thread you use on Great Danes. It won't be pretty, but he'll live. When you tie the final knot, the gunman steps forward. He pulls a thick envelope from his jacket and drops it on the patient's chest. "Keep your mouth shut," he says. "Buy yourself something nice." He carries the man out the back. The door swings shut. You're alone. You open the envelope. You count it. $5,000. Cash. Part of you wants to call the police right now, show them the blood on your floor, the money in your hands, and let someone else deal with the rest. But the clinic is bleeding money. Rent is overdue. Your daughter's tuition bill is sitting on your kitchen counter with a red stamp in the corner that reads, "Past due." And those eyes, the gunman's eyes, cold, careful, the kind that don't forget a face. You mop the floor. You throw the rags away. You hide the envelope behind the tax returns in your filing cabinet. You tell yourself it's a one-time thing. 3 nights later, your phone rings at 2 a.m. Unknown number. You answer it. "The vet who works late. I heard you do good work." You don't speak. You barely breathe. A friend needs help. Same situation. Double the pay. You should hang up. You should call the police right now and tell them everything. But you think about the tuition bill. You think about your daughter's smile. You give them the address. The second patient is a woman. 47 stitches in a clean, careful line. The envelope they leave behind holds $10,000. You start keeping the back door unlocked on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Word spreads. You don't know how, and you don't ask. A man with a shattered kneecap on a Tuesday. A woman with burned palms on a Thursday. She says she grabbed something hot. You don't ask what. You wrap her hands, give her antibiotics, and send her out the back. They all pay cash. They all leave the same way they came in. Nobody asks your name, and you never ask theirs. And here's the thing that lets you sleep at night. Most of them aren't criminals. Yes, sometimes you're stitching up someone whose hands are too steady and whose eyes carry things you don't want to know about. But mostly, it's people who simply have nowhere else to go. A construction worker who fell 2 stories and has no insurance. A mother who can't afford the emergency room and can't afford to miss work either. Regular people with regular problems and no access to regular solutions. You're helping people. That's what you tell yourself. You buy sharper tools for the clinic, better lights. You tell your ex-wife business has finally picked up. She smiles. She doesn't ask questions. You put down a deposit on your daughter's first semester. 3 months pass. You've earned more than the previous 2 years combined. The filing cabinet is full. You opened a second hiding spot behind the water heater. You start to feel capable, needed, like you finally discovered what you were actually built for. That's the first mistake. It's a Thursday. You wrap up around 2 a.m. Dislocated shoulder, straightforward. Pop it back, wrap it, hand over the painkillers, take the cash. You walk the patient to the back door. You watch them go. You lock up. You grab your keys, you head to the parking lot. You notice the black van too late. The side door slides open. 2 men step out. Large, quiet, moving with purpose. One of them puts a bag over your head. The world goes dark. They push you into the van. When the bag comes off, you're sitting in a chair with your zip ties cut and glass walls all around you. Through the glass, you can see an operating room that looks more expensive than your entire clinic. A man in a suit stands before you. On the table behind the glass lies a body. You recognize him immediately. Everyone in the city would. He owns the ports, he owns the police, he owns everything that moves through this city once the sun goes down. "You're the vet," the suit says. He turns and points. "That man needs help." You shake your head. You explain the difference between stitching up someone in a back alley clinic and operating on the most dangerous man in the city. You tell him this person needs a real hospital, a real surgeon, someone who spent a decade in medical school. "Hospitals ask questions," the suit says. "We don't like questions." A guard shifts in the corner. You hadn't noticed him before. His hand rests on his hip. "Mammals are mammals," the suit says. "Begin." You scrub your hands. A woman in scrubs appears at your side. You step through the glass door. You check the crime lord's vitals. Internal bleeding. You've seen this in dogs hit by cars and cats who fell from too high up. You look through the glass. You tell the suit you need to operate now. He nods. Your hand hovers over the table and you pause. This man has destroyed families, erased people, left nothing behind but silence and grief. You could let him go. Call it a complication. No one would be able to prove anything different. But you think about your daughter, the way she hugs you when you pick her up, holding tight like she doesn't want to let go. You begin. 2 hours disappear. The woman assists you with quiet precision, handing you tools before you ask, adjusting the light before you need to ask for it. Your back aches, your legs have gone numb, but your hands are steady, steadier than they've ever been. You tie the final knot. The crime lord is alive. You feel nothing, just hollow, like you left a piece of yourself on that table. The suit enters. Better than expected. You pull off your gloves, you drop them, you ask for a ride home. You want your own bed. You want to forget the last few hours. The suit presses a button on the wall. The glass turns white. You can't see out. You spin around. The door is sealed. You pound against it. Nothing. Slowly you turn back. The crime lord's eyes are open. He looks at you the way a predator looks at something it has already decided it owns. He smiles. "You saved my life," he says, voice barely above a whisper. You nod. You tell him you did what was asked. Now you need to leave. Your daughter needs her father. Your life is waiting for you out there. He shakes his head. He gestures to the corner of the room. You look. A bed with clean sheets, a small desk with a lamp, a stack of thick medical textbooks. "I've been looking for someone like you," he says, calm under pressure, no questions, works with what's available. You tell him no, Your voice breaks on the word. You tell him about her graduation, her wedding, every moment that is still ahead. "She'll be taken care of," he says. "Best schools, nice home, she'll have everything she needs." He closes his eyes. "She won't even notice you're gone." You press your hands flat against the cold glass. Nobody comes. The suit's voice fills the room from somewhere above. "Get some rest. You start early tomorrow." You look at the bed. You look at the sealed door. You look at the man lying on the table, breathing steadily because of you. You think about that first night, the gunman at the window, the pistol tapping against the glass, the moment you chose to unlock the door. You thought you were making a decision. You believed you were in control. You understand now that the door was never really yours to lock. You have spent your entire life taking care of creatures that had no choice in the matter, no voice, no way out. Now you finally understand what that feels like from the other side.